I wish to start with a very small chapter, Chemistry in Everyday Life. It is the last chapter of your chemistry course. Here we are going to deal with the medicines, some chemical substances which we use in everyday life. This is an important chapter otherwise because it helps us to know how does the biological world get influenced by chemistry. Say for example, in this case, the kind of situation we all are in, we need a vaccine. So that vaccine is created through chemistry. This is what this chapter deals with basically. In medicines, these are chemical substances of natural or synthetic origin which are used for curing diseases and reduce suffering from pain. Now, there's something different between medicines and drugs. Medicines cure us, but they do not cause addiction. Drugs usually cause addiction. The branch of chemistry which deals with the treatment of diseases using suitable chemicals is known as chemotherapy. On the other hand, medical chemistry deals with the design and synthesis of drugs or medicines based on an understanding of how these work in our body. So, medicinal chemistry deals with the origin of any disease and then how a medicine helps us to cure that disease. So, it undergoes the process of understanding the various chemicals, the functional groups in organic compounds, because all medicines are by and large organic by nature. Then they are showing us a distinction between the term drug and medicine. They say all drugs are medicines, but all medicines are not drugs. However, society and law makes a clear-cut distinction between the two. They say a medicine is a chemical substance which cures the disease, is safe to use, has negligible toxicity and does not cause addiction. In contrast, a drug is a chemical substance which also cures the disease but is habit forming, causes addiction, and has serious side effects. So, broadly speaking, all drugs are medicines, but if you consume them for a long period of time, then they have a harmful effect on the body and cause serious damage to us. Thus, both penicillin and heroin are medicines because penicillin is an effective antibacterial agent and heroin is a powerful painkiller. But penicillin is called a medicine since it does not have addictive properties, while heroin is called a drug because of its pronounced habit forming and addictive properties. So, heroin is a drug because it usually has a huge impact on the nervous system. It has a cooling effect on the mind of a person for some period of time, and very soon it takes over the person itself, and hence he becomes addictive and cannot stay without it. However, penicillin would be taken for a short period of time. Once you are cured, penicillin would not be used. Next, today we are dealing with classification of drugs. First is on the basis of a pharmacological effect. Here, actually, it means on what basis the drug should be given. For example, if you want a painkiller, then the pharmacological effect is to reduce your pain. So, you need an analgesic. Antiseptic is required to kill the growth of any microorganisms on your body. Second is on the basis of drug action, means every medicine cannot be used for every purpose. Had it been, we would not have suffered this much in these last 3-4 months. So, for example, we have antihistamine. It inhibits the action of histamine, which causes inflammation in the body. Inflammation means swelling. So, whenever swelling occurs, then histamine is responsible for it. But if we take antihistamine, then that swelling can be reduced. So, on what basis the drug would act on our body comes under this category. Third is on the basis of chemical structure. Drugs have also been classified on the basis of their chemical structure because drugs have common structural features, often have similar pharmacological activity. For example, all sulfonamides having the common structural feature are given below are mostly antibacterial. That means sulfonamides are basically medicines which are containing sulfur. What they are trying to highlight here is every drug would not have a similar structure. Sometimes, like paracetamol, it is used against many problems simultaneously. So it is something at a broader level, but every time you cannot use the same medicine for different purposes. So they say drugs having common structural features often show same pharmacological activity. So sulfonamide is basically a common drug having a common structure under which many small medicines must have been prepared which show some specific function, but by and large all have similar structure. So structurally they are similar, but functionally some may be different from the others. Here this is an example of a sulfonamide. It's a sulfur containing medicine. Here you see it is clearly mentioned R. R is the alkyl group. So basic structure remains the same. There is a benzene ring, there is an amino group, S double bond O, S double bond O, NHR. But if you change the alkyl group, the sulfonamide structure would change and its function would also change. But primarily they all would be classified as sulfonamides. Next is on the basis of molecular target. This means the drugs usually interact with the biomolecules or biological macromolecules such as carbohydrate, proteins, nucleic acids and lipids. These are called target molecules. So we have to decide which drug, which medicine has to be used against which kind of compound in our body. By now you all are aware we are either having carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids or lipids in our body. So the drugs or medicines which we take have a role to play with respect to these biomolecules as well. So every drug cannot act on all. Some drugs would be effective against proteins, some against DNA, some against carbohydrates. Hence, the molecular target becomes very important. Last today I would like to tell you something about the structure of the enzyme. Kindly go through this. This is an enzyme. I give you a very simple example, like we have talked about pepsin in our life, in our gastric juice. So if this is the enzyme structure for pepsin, this is the active site. If you can recollect, pepsin is a protein digesting enzyme. So substrate here means the protein molecule which would come here, join this active site. There will be an enzyme substrate complex formed, and then the enzyme would be able to digest the protein and get converted it into amino acids. The various possible bindings that can take place between enzyme and the substrate molecule are van der Waals attraction, hydrogen bonding, ionic bonding. So they all bind together and there is some reaction that takes place with the help of the enzyme, because enzyme is a biocatalyst. Why is an enzyme mentioned here? Because all biological activities in our body take place with the help of enzymes. We shall continue with this in our next video. Thank you.